Welcome back everyone to my 7th Greg Tech New Horizons Challenge video. Today's main goal is going to be building up my oxygen and hydrogen separator, as well as my ethylene production line. I know I may have spoken about the EBF before in the last episode, but once again, I've changed my mind. So yeah, we're gonna hold off on the EBF for a little bit, and the big reason for that is because I want oxygen to be produced while we're doing other random things around the base. That way when we actually need it, it's already available. And yes, I do know it's not going to be the most efficient method of oxygen production, but it is also the easiest and cheapest in my mind. While crafting up more machines for my new production lines, I got tired of my current ones getting angry and yelling at me when I wanted to run a couple of them at the same time. So I went ahead and made a battery buffer to store any of the extra energy we've produced, so that it's there for when energy usage is in high demand. It took a little bit of time to fill in the internal buffer before the batteries started to charge, like I had done something wrong, but thankfully, with a little bit of patience, I was able to verify that actually the battery buffer was working. With that headache out of my way, I decided to take the extra battery that I had to finally make my item dislocator. And here's a quick answer to those of you who are wondering why I have so many coke ovens, like the viewer I had from my live stream. Knight, welcome to the channel. What will you do with this much charcoal? I use the charcoal to fuel my water pumps. And that way I never have to worry about them not supplying water like this. I actually have to refuel this right now, or I'm not going to have a good time. So I could leave it for a lot longer. Otherwise, if it runs out of water, well, this boiler is going to go boom boom, and that's not good. Yeah, and then also it's not really as much for the charcoal itself. It's mainly for the creosote that powers up my fuel boiler, my liquid fuel boiler. Alright, see, this is my problem. Like, I start to get to a point where I bounce back and forth way too much rather than focusing on a goal. Like, one main goal I want to do, I want to set up oil. Oil production. Actually, you know what? You're getting turned off because you're angry. And that's all it takes. A little distraction from one of my machines, and now the goal or project that I was working on had completely changed. Thankfully, after chat beat some sense into me, I was able to get back on track and begin working on my oil production again. So, obviously, one of the most important things about an oil production line is to have oil and a good supply of it. So I crafted up some steel fluid cells, flew back to my old oil pump, and gathered as much of that black gold as possible and brought it back to my base. I went ahead and built a medium-sized boiler to power up the 2 new production lines, though I did find out later that it actually wouldn't be enough to run both of the lines at the same time. And speaking of things not being enough, my progress was interrupted for a little bit due to the fact that my cat thinks that I don't feed her enough. Hello cat, are you hungry? Wait, do you want to tell the audience that you're hungry? How hungry are you? Very hungry. Well, you have just under an hour, cat, until dinner time. Make your complaints made. Do you want to complain? Very good. I also went ahead and wrote down the processing steps to make ethylene on some signs. So that way I wouldn't have to actually keep opening up the NEI and searching through that and wasting a bunch of time. Because I was impatient and wanted molten polyethylene now, I tossed up a couple machines to produce my first batch, then made filters which were used to create the first sifter. And this sifter will take purified ores, like the lapis that I'm going to wash up here, and then later on I'll be able to pick up the lapis that has been sifted out and add it to my hammer and the pickaxe to vastly increase the amount of fortune that they're going to have. Before we get too serious in building the new production lines, I wanted to let you guys in on a funny idea that me and the chat had during one of the live streams to power up the base. I have an idea, hear me out. Auto pig farm. Alright, I'm in. Hold on a minute. Oh my gosh. We can centrifuge pork chops into methane. Could you imagine having a pig-only powered base? The amount of lag that you would have from the pigs and the pork chops being all everywhere. Oh my gosh. Alright, enough goofing around. I'm just finishing up setting up the pipes for the hydrogen and oxygen separator. Wood is for water and potent is for steam. And that should be good right there. Look at that. So now we have all of our canisters being emptied of our hydrogen, which then we'll take a pump probably underneath and then back into one of our tanks here. Alright, there we go. Got our oxygen all pumping out now. Excuse me. So now we can easily just add that into our ethylene to get our molten polyethylene. And it looks quite nice. Like, that's nice and organized. You have just this little strip here of everything. I mean, it's only 3 blocks wide and 3 blocks tall. That is not bad at all. Everything's so nice and symmetrical. I love it. Now that that's complete, I began working on the ethylene production line, and it took me way longer to get up and running than I'd like to admit, but my excuse is that it would have been done sooner if I would have picked a specific route or output for the sulfur or the sulfuric fluid, I forgot exactly what it was called, rather than sticking on that and then bouncing ideas back and forth on what would be better for me. But thankfully, I finally just picked one and went with it, and I got the machine up and running. So circuit 3, 30 EU, 30 EU. You are angry now. So, okay, you are angry, even though you have power to use. As you can hear, I did have a bit of a power problem, as I had explained earlier, due to the fact of not having enough steam production for both this ethylene line and my oxygen/hydrogen separator, as well as not having enough turbines to power up the buffer that is then feeding all of my machines. My simple band-aid fix for now was to add in a couple more steam turbines to feed into the battery buffer, as well as just completely disconnecting either of the machines, the oxygen and hydrogen separator, or the ethylene line. But there it is. This line will now produce ethylene mostly by itself. All I have to do is supply oil to it every now and then, as well as removing the tiny ashes in the chest. Since I was able to complete my main goals, I took some extra time to polish up my coke oven area. I could put it here instead, so that way it's outside. I don't have to worry about it being in the floor. So we do the same thing here. So that'll work out good. So I can still deposit my coal in here, and then I can reuse this line. Might be a little congested though, I realize, because if I want my creosote pumped out, well, actually I can make my creosote line go up and over to there. I need a couple pumps, but I can have my creosote lines going up and over, and then my item lines going up and or down and under. I also made the steam oven, and why did I not make this sooner? It's absolutely amazing. And in the process of making it, it allowed me to complete 2 other quests for the steam furnace and the high pressure steam furnace. There we go. We got our steam oven. Smelt all the things. I'm just gonna set it up right here for now, and obviously we'll move it later on, because this guy's barely operating. Look at that. Oh my gosh. We're gonna be smelting everything. Okay, I can't shift whatever click everything in there, but that's fine. You're gonna smelt 8 items at a time? Dude, that's so fast. 9 items at a time. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. I decided it was time to get some fresh air, so why not go meteorite hunting for another quest? Meteorite compass. Let's go, meteorite hunter. There it is. Look at that. Okay, we got lucky. We found some of it. Ah, there's my chest. Look at that. Another achievement. Unknown technology. We'll get a press. So that should give me another quest, unless I have to drop it on the ground to get it. No. Hold on a minute. Achievements. Find a processor press. Okay, so I already got that. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. I got the stupid chest, but I need to find another meteorite. Thankfully, I was able to find another meteorite to get the rest of the stone for the quest. I'm just surprised that the first one wasn't big enough. And hey, look! I finally took the time to better the lives of my farm animals. I kept getting too many phone calls about animal abuse complaints, so I guess it was time to do something about it. Let's get you out of the sickness zone. After so long, I don't even know how many hours, we're finally getting these guys out. I mean, they were already crammed in the hole to begin with. So, I mean, but they are going to be cramped into a little bit of a tighter space. But hey, at least they don't have to worry about the pollution as much as they did before. They still have it, but not nearly as close to the source. I guess I'll breed everyone here, why not? Oh, the cries of joy. They're so happy. Almost as happy as me completing these random quests before we end our video today. I want to say thank you very much everybody once again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And if you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like down below, it greatly does help out a lot. And for those of you that may be new to the channel, feel free to check out the other prior videos as well as subscribing to the channel to help us reach 5K subscribers. We are very close. And thank you once again to all of the amazing members of the channel. We'll see you all next time. Blaze out.